Hey, so we're gonna get our first guest of the night. We have Arnaud, from the Chief Digital Officer at CAE. Can you come join us?
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hope the fam feels better.
It's at this point, it's only a matter of time, I think, for everyone. As long as we recover, I personally am ready to get back to normal and figure out how to deal with COVID a different way. But that's
Yeah,
another
same
topic,
here.
and we need
Cheers
a
to
few
that.
beers for that. Um, why don't, instead of me butchering an introduction for you, which I've been known to do a couple of times, why don't you let the audience tell the little audience about yourself and what you do?
Well, hi everybody. I'm Arnaud Van de Voorde. I'm Chief Digital Officer over at CAE. For those of you who don't know who CAE is, I'd like to call us one of the hidden jewel in high technology in Canada. We're about a $10 billion company that works in essentially three verticals. We do civil, healthcare, and defense digital and immersive solution training. So pretty nifty stuff. I like to say we've been working in the metaverse for probably the past 20 years. So we kind of had a little bit of a chuckle when that came out as a trend this year. And for me, myself, I've been in digital technology for the past 25 years. Not to date myself for some of the coders out there, but some of my first apps were on WAP, on mobile technology using Palm OS. So that's dating me right there. And I've been doing this for about 25 years with a split half between consulting and the other half into large companies enabling digital transformation and evolution. So that's me in a nutshell.
So I love that background. Miss a couple of my Palm OS apps. The particular was a
Probably have a
good.
few lying around somewhere still.
Yeah, I think the data in them are outdated. Just
Yeah.
would like to break down some of what you said a bit more.
Yeah.
CAE, you explained the verticals, but can you give an idea of some of the products or what's, because I think at a high level that sounds really cool, but let's make it more real for people in the audience to
No,
understand what you guys do.
absolutely. So, CAE is a pioneer of innovation in Canada. We're a global company. We're about 10,000 worldwide. We have customers in 190 countries. And what we do is immersive training solutions. So, let's take the example of pilots, for example. You may or may not know this, but they need to be certified every 6 months through a full flight simulator, which I like to call it the coolest video game in the world, which is a 100% replica of what you would experience as a pilot inside the cockpit. The thing moves. It really gives you the G factor impression. It's crazy. But so we power and create those equipments all the way down to the visual system, which is now actually using Unreal technology. So it gives you a sense of the merge of high technology, engineering, and digital stack that we play with. And we do this across all three of our verticals. So in the case of healthcare, it's the exact same thing. We create full animated simulators that help doctors, ultrasound specialists, nurses hone their skills and become certified or continue their professional and progression certification process. So again, through a combination of engineering, hardware, software, digital learning systems, technologies.
Pretty cool. So now told us about what CAE does, and you told us you were a founder before, and you've been around programming for a while. So a lot of founders and audience who are looking
Yeah.
to make their early hires. So let's, take a step back and what challenges did you face as a founder hiring your first team members?
Uh, when in my founders days and the technologies that we were looking for, I think when you look for initial hires, to me it's about two things. It's probably about obviously technology capacity and competency. If you're a founder, you need to ship fast. You need POCs out in market quickly. You need to prove that your product's going to work. So, whatever you think you aspire to have as a tech stack, find someone that's been there, done that, and has done a few successful products based on those technologies. That's really going to help speed up your roadmap. And then to me, that maybe the X factor in selecting early hires is who's going to have the X factor and the same alignment and curiosity around the problem that you're trying to solve, right? So it's one thing to be able to do the work, but can you get to a place where philosophically and from a curiosity and passion perspective, you're seeing eye to eye on the possibility, the opportunity, and the problem to solve in the marketplace. So those are kind of the two, the two things I would single out. After that, obviously, as in early founders, you have to make the financials work. So that's
Yeah.
another dimension to consider as well when it comes to experience versus do you think someone has has the ability to step up and get into maybe a more senior role, right, as part of your initial founding team.
And a flip side, if well, we have lots of people here looking to work at early stage companies, what are some things they should know before they join an early stage company?
Um, I mean, I think you have to believe in the mission of what the company is trying to achieve. You have to appreciate that there's a portion of risk in what you get yourself into when you're doing early ventures. I've had some successes and some good exits. I've also had some monumental fails, aka learning experiences, and so you take those with you along the way. I think you have to do your own research in terms of background on the existing team or the founders, where they're coming from. If they're able and willing to disclose where they're at in terms of funding and what they're seeing in terms of ramping up, that's something that also needs to be of reassurance, right? Everybody needs to be able to make a living. So look for those items when you're trying to gauge if you're seeing a really attracting technology or even a
Yeah,
mission-driven challenge, and you're dying to step into it. But make sure that you also consider all the elements on both the pros and the cons column, right? In jumping on into a venture.
I love that. You're basically saying they're interviewing you, but you should be interviewing them and doing diligence as well. Um,
Absolutely.
I have a Before I get to my next question, I'm going to take one from Q&A. Malvika is asking, any tips for job seekers to get noticed? And I'll say that anyone trying to break into, get a CAE to work at for oh God, tongue
CAE.
tied to CAE or for a startup. Like what can someone do to get noticed?
Um, I mean, it's gonna sound a little basic, but uh, I would ensure that you have enough preparation on the actual job description, right? Take the time to read it and read it again and figure out where are some of the core components that your experience or your aspirations really fit and hit the bullseye in terms of what people are seeking for in talent. Um, be as amped up as you can possibly be in those conversations. Maybe a couple notches down from Jason, but ensure that you're remarkable, right? There's a lot of people that are being interviewed, so if you're really looking into getting the gig, well, you've got to show that you want it and why, right? And why you would be a good fit. And if you're not sure that you're necessarily a good fit, which in terms of potentially your experience or expertise, that's fine. To me, the candidates that stand out at any levels, right, even founder or today in my world, are the people that are convincing me that I can see that they're willing and yearning to learn, and I can see that they have the capability to step up for it. And the minute you see that, you know that you have a great person to work with, right, and grow within your company and within different roles.
I like that. You, as an employer, you're looking not only for what the person currently brings, but what they could bring in the future. So the ability to learn, the curiosity, a good partner. So let's talk about, you know, based on your experience, you went from the startup world to the enterprise world. Um, that can be a tough transition. How can candidates bring their startup skills to big companies? You know, what's the approach and what should they do to make that change?
Yeah, so maybe just a 30-second history interlude. My luck and my path was that in the early 2000s, the enterprise was looking for people who just had the ability to do any digital stuff. I mean, even back then, the universities didn't have solid programs on anything that we were doing in the marketplace, right? So that obviously played, but when it comes to what you're trying to do now, I think I personally believe anyone that's seeking a job has the upper hand right now. Right? There's a ton of demand on the market. So the good news for you guys is that I think you have a tremendous amount of opportunities and choice to make. So pick something that you think you can really sink your teeth into and learn. The thing that you have to acknowledge between early stage venture or even small and medium sized business versus a larger company is some of the pace that you're accustomed to might not be as vibrant as you're used to, simply because you're in bigger ships, right? There's more decks and more cogs to align in order for things to happen. So That's something that you need to know for your own personal culture. And if you're okay with that and if you can adapt to that, then great. If you're someone that needs to burn the midnight oil nonstop, that's probably going to be a little bit of a hard transition. The flip side of that is you get means and you get the ability to do a lot more with a lot more resources and potentially play with stacks and capabilities that you wouldn't have the means to touch in smaller companies, right? So there's definitely some trade-offs.
So, just continuing down this path, let's say someone's interested in going to an enterprise company. How do you tell which ones are serious about innovation and the digital push? And what's different about the interview process? Like you talked about how to handle an interview with a startup. Like how do
Yeah.
there's some things get prepared, but like what else should I be asking? What else should I be trying to figure out here? It's less about the founders, I assume.
Yeah, no, I think it's about I love what you said about interviewing your company or your job employer as well, right? So when I'm being asked that question as to okay, why should I join CAE? Well, to me, it's about presenting the opportunities and the steps that and the ladders that exist within the company, and the fact that we have a core digital product offering where if you're a hardcore PM and you want to get into optimization and play on a wide array of technologies, we've got that. If you want to be part of the growth cohorts of PMs that are trying to figure out what's the next piece that we need to add to it, there's also that component. And I think you can determine if a company is serious about digital transformation and innovation if they have, a secluded unit with distinct and almost cornered off budgets and capabilities and labs and partnerships in order for you to explore the sandbox and see what's out there, and the ability to learn and test out projects, right? Some of the incubation that we've done on the CAE side are exactly along these lines. Is we foster the ideas from our teams from a global perspective, and then the ones that rise to the top that we think really have merit to be explored, don't know yet if they'll be successful or not, get cast into our innovation labs, and then they get to a place where you can create the product from start to finish. We'll actually have a hackathon coming up with you guys in the spring around this platform called Echo, which is digital twin on demand, right? We don't know
Cool.
where exactly that's going to go, but we'll try it out.
I'm looking for that hackathon, and I don't think we have the information yet, but I'm sure the team will share it with everyone once we do. Uh, I would love, talking about, let's use say CAE as an example here, and what like so far, like what are the things you would highlight to potential candidates of the ways to show that you're serious about innovation, other than the hackathon with TechTO, but like and yeah, so just I like taking examples and making them solid. So let's use CAE as an example.
Well, the company has been a pioneer in innovation in the country, but we work in the background of a lot of our customers. So, like I said, a lot of people don't know who we are, but when you start scratching the surface and realize what it is that we do for which company and with the reach that we have in the world, it's really interesting. To me. One of the components to be able to drive innovation is the ability to carve out some budgets. So in the case of Innovation Lab, it's the ability for us to have that independent governed pocket of opportunities and folks that can go and create whatever they need into it. So that's how I like to ensure that depending on where you're at in your career, whether you're beginning in terms of development or you're an established product manager that's been tried, tested, and true, that's delivered amazing result, and you're looking for something fresh but still piggybacks on some of your technology or even business knowledge, that's something that you can bring to the table. Now, in terms of opportunities within our companies, I mean, if you want to work on ecom, you can work on ecom where we have several storefronts that are being deployed. If you want to work on AR, VR, take your pick. You want to work in aviation, healthcare, or defense and secret projects and security. We also do that over there. If you're looking for immersive solutions, we do those as well. If you want to go closer to IoT and data collection and AI and data science, we do that as well because we need it for our product. So the richness of opportunities that we have within our company is really what makes people, I think, look twice and think about joining us seriously.
Well, Leah just posted your job site, and I imagine you have lots of jobs open. I want to take a couple questions from the audience,
Mhm.
given what you just said. So Jignesh is basically asking, sounds like you have lots of different areas of that you could potentially put your career, but if you you personally, what are the exciting spaces you would work on given the current situation of the world? Like, is there certain technologies or certain like products? What do you think are the most exciting spaces given the current environment?
Well, as much as I hate the term metaverse and how it's being portrayed in the market, I think there are two definite domains for us that are going to be fundamental in the future. One is immersive technology, so AR, VR, and the ability to work on some of the gaming engines, whether it's Unity or Unreal. We work with both within our company, so that's probably the first one. The second one is obviously around data and data science and AI. So one of the things that we're trying to figure out, and I was talking with, I think it was Zello, the company, right before the chat on the introduction, and they do super interesting stuff, right? They help students coming out of school to round out their profile to figure out their readiness as to what do they want to do in their career. And I was just mentioning that we try to do the exact same thing with a richer set of data for professionals. So if you're a doctor or if you're a nurse or if you're a pilot, what it is that we know about you from a data perspective, your performance, how do you do in training, how well did you perform in your job, and what are your aspirations career-wise, and how do we mine that data and provide AI-based recommendations for advanced professional training. So those are some of the components that we do as well. So in terms of the two domains, I think if you're looking to specialize at a development level, a lot of things that I'm going to call our basic digital are probably slowly but surely getting to a no-code
Yeah.
approach to it because they're basic. The research and the advanced stuff and the stuff still to be explored really is around AI and immersive tech. That's kind of how
Cool.
we look at it.
So the metaverse and it sounds like education. And the last question before we leave, like, and maybe Leah can put up where you guys have jobs again. But Nikki, I assume, is not based in Canada, is asking, would you consider talent or employees outside of, that are based abroad? How do what factors do you consider? How do they get connected with your organization?
Well, the only prerequisite for you to work abroad for CAE is you have to send me postcards of where you are. Um, so that's about it.
Well, with ten thousand employees, like
it's a
how
digital
many
world, right?
countries? Yeah.
Yeah, there's no that's the way I think we have to approach this new way of working and digital talent by definition is global, and I think there's pockets of amazing people all across this world. So we're completely open to remote work from anywhere.
Excellent. Arnaud, thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to our hackathon. And next time I get on the plane, I'm going to be thinking of you. And, because I assume most pilots are trained on your technology.
Well, one of these days we'll have to hook you up with a sim session at our Montreal head office. You'll never want to get out of that thing.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, as long as Alex isn't flying the real thing, I'm happy with that. Thanks, Arnaud. Thanks, Alex.